Oh yeah. Welcome back, guys. I got a treat for you. Here I have this 426 Challenger, full bolt-on. It's on 91 right now, with a big custom cam. It's got headers. So this is basically, we got to base tune it, put in the break-in mileage, and then if you don't know what this means, slap a Pro Charger on it, and this one's going to be ready for the streets. Smoke coming out of the intake. All right, so it's back. Had a couple problems like I just previously mentioned, so little updates on it. So we do have the OEM Hellcat throttle body, obviously with the filter now. Had to make some modifications to make it all fit. Got a lot of issues addressed. We got the sensors wired up, a couple of wiring fixes, and then we have it on the base tune. So we're gonna go ahead and dial this one in on the street. He's gonna put the break-in mileage, like I mentioned, Pro Charger, come back for some dyno work. All right, so let's see how it does. Where's the key at? Let me get the key. And we will remote start this. The coolant temp's about 84 degrees, so it's kind of a cold start. We'll see. Ah, the hood's open. Oops. Or not. I guess we'll get inside and start it. All right, here we go. Alright, so let's plug it in, get it situated. Alright, so here it is. I don't know what happened, but maybe it was just a hiccup the way it was parked, but it started up as soon as I just moved it a little bit. So again, here is that idle. So it's the 426 custom spec cam. He's got headers. So I'm basically walking in, getting my scanner set up, and just wanted to do some last minute charging. I'm gonna head in right now, probably grab my Y-band, get it hooked up. It's gonna be a little scary doing a pull out on the streets, just because, you know, it's a 426 block with a, you know, a nice good cam. So it's definitely making over 500, at least maybe 520, at least maybe 530 wheel HP right now as it sits on some little stock tires. So gonna do my best to stay careful, keep it safe, but obviously we want the tune to be right, and it's the only way to do it. So here we go. All right, so we're in the car. Still in the base tune, so I'm kind of just letting it warm up a little bit. It does have a 180, so I want it to get hot so I can test the hot start. Here's what we're looking at. So we're not too bad. The fuel trims could be better. The idle chop could be better, but I'm going to try and make it as drivable as I can. So it's been idling for about 10 minutes pretty consistently at about 800, 850 RPMs. So let's test the hot start right now. Here we go. How am I going to do this? Obviously could be a lot better. Doesn't want to start when hot, so gotta dive into that right now first. But I am just gonna drive it around the block really quick, see what it looks like, and go from there. And the check engine light literally just came on from that hot start, so P1004. And we'll check out what that code is shortly. All right, so you guys heard that first start. It was pretty bad on the hot start, so we're still at 190, which is on the hot side. So I just loaded in a new tune. It started up way better on the second crank, so let's see how it does. So that was actually a lot better. Probably need to throw a little more fuel at it, because you can see the wideband just isn't picking up enough fuel. We should be a little rich, like you want to be around 0.85 lambda or so, which is that 1.9 you just saw was in lambda, but coming out of the exhaust. So it's not actually, the sensor's not actually up by the cats or where the cats would be in the mid pipe, so it's out the exhaust, so it's going to read a lot higher. But still 1.9 was the first reading it got, so definitely not enough fuel. So I'm going to put some more fuel into it on the hot start and go from there. All right, so I put 20 more, or I should say I added 20%. So let's clear this up. Let's see what happens. So we're at like we got to like 1.6. So probably needs a little more fuel. So let's do it again. All right, here we go. Try number 3. So it almost wants to light. I'm gonna try and put a little more fuel on the hot start and see if that improves, because it was almost better, but then it wasn't. So let's try again. All right, so some spark changes, kept the fueling the same. Let's see how it goes. Oh, come on. Literally lit on the first try, then died. So let's do it back to back, see what happens. Let it learn that. And give the fans a minute to cool off. All right, let's try it again. Like it still wants more fuel, so I'm gonna try again. All right, right, so let's talk about some thoughts and impressions. The first drive, I didn't want to have my phone out just because I didn't know really what to expect, but this thing is fast. My initial tune had the wide open throttle at about 12.7, which isn't terrible. So it's actually really good. I made some changes after driving the first time around, and I was able to get this thing to start up hot, so I'm gonna test that right now on video for you guys. Obviously a much better start than the last time, and just to prove the motor is hot, 186, and just to prove it again, we'll go back to back. So now that the hot start's out of the way, I can focus a little more on the drivability aspect, which has installed one time. Like I said, the watt feeling's great. Let me get out and show you guys the idle again. I played with a little bit, but trying to keep it stable for the most part. All right, so I have my headphone plugged in, so hopefully the sound is okay. I'm doing my best to kind of show you a little bit about the POV on the drive. It's very hard to do the watt pulls just because this alignment's not the greatest. So as you can see, like literally I have to pull hard left to keep it straight. And it's on the stock Scat Pack tires. So on top of that, it's going to be jumpy and slidey, and this road's not very big, so but you can see, I mean, it's driving pretty good. Let me switch the cluster so you can see that MPH. So take us to our spot, do a baby pull. I don't know how well you can hear the exhaust, but hopefully no one bothers me. Just kind of need to do one more pull just to like confirm everything's good. So as you can see, coming to a stop, no stalling, idle's nice and high. Gonna hit a baby pull in third gear. I'm gonna ease into it though. Oh! Alright, yeah. Low-key scary. If the alignment was better, I'd probably hold it, but as soon as I hit like the 3600 mark, it was like it changed gears, but at the same time it didn't change gears. So it's really torquey, and obviously this isn't my car. I would love to get this on the dyno, so hopefully we can get a dyno soon. He just has to do some break-in mileage, so what I'm doing is basically just making sure the fueling is correct. That way, so if he gets on it every once in a while, it's not harmful. Because the worst thing you could do is just run these motors when they're running lean at full throttle. It's usually how you'll crack a piston. He still is on 91 gas, or 91 pump, whatever you want to call it. So I have the timing turned down a little bit. So I think when I did the first pull, it was about 12 degrees spark, which isn't a lot, honestly. Could maybe do 14, 15 on 91, but if he was on the 85, obviously, you know, I just would throw 6 degrees at it and that would work well, make a lot of power. But just trying to get the job done so he can drive it safely, make sure it starts for him, because it wasn't starting previously. It would fire up when it was cold, like a cold start, but as soon as the engine got at all warmed up, it was not starting well, but it starts well now. So I'm gonna just do another check up here once I get around this bend of the hot start. And then obviously I kind of stated already, but the goal is to break this motor in, dyno it. He's probably going to run it for a bit, then put the Pro Charger on it, dyno it with the Pro Charger. And this thing is, it makes so much more power than any of the Scat Packs that I've driven. What's nice about the 426 displacement is it's immediate power, so you know, this thing, and I'll probably check it on the dyno, but this probably makes, you know, at least 80 foot-pounds of torque over the stock 6.4 at like every aspect of the RPM band, probably more. Because if you just think about the power difference between a 6.4 and a 5.7, you know, that's 392 minus 345 cubic inches is a 426 cubic inch. So the difference from a 6.4 to a 5.7 is almost gonna be the same difference as a 426 to a 6.4. So on top of that, it's got a custom cam, you know, an appropriate torque converter for it. But you can see that, I mean, I'm putting around and this car is fine, no issues at all. It's definitely a race car for sure in that retrospect, because if I were to stomp on it right now, I mean, the traction just isn't there. It's not going to get any traction. So Alex is really going to enjoy this car. I also need to talk a little bit about what Brian did. For those of you who know who Brian is, BKS 1320 on Instagram. He's pretty well known down here in Southern California. He does a lot of diag work, and I don't know where I put the video, but in the video I have a video of this car basically smoking. Smoke was coming out of the throttle body. It was misfiring bad. I think I deleted the original video that I was going to start with this car just because it didn't run great. It backfired like no other. When we gave it to Brian, so he's, you know, a Mopar guy through and through, it had 30 different codes and had, you know, wiring problem here. The throttle body was bad. The throttle body was smoking so much that smoke was coming out of the tailpipe and out of the throttle body as well. So, you know, he just got all the new OEM sensors in it, did all kinds of great diagnostic work to this car. And now, you know, here we are. We're driving it around like it's a daily, going through a lot of stop and goes through the back roads. So 426, if you can do it, you know, you could daily it. I don't know if Brian dailies his, but I'm sure he does. But either way, so I'll check back in once I get back to a safer spot. But actually, you know what, let me I'm gonna pull over up here, test an immediate hot start. Let me get through this stop sign. I'll probably do it. I wish I brought my tripod. I would set it up and just throw some revs down for you guys, but I mean, I'm barely touching the throttle, like, woof. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Not many cars that you get tuned that are cammed, whatever, where you're able to throw it in neutral, rev it, throw it back into gear, and the car stays alive. So I'm not saying I'm the best. There's a lot I can learn, but, you know, I do get weekly messages about people wanting to retune their cars because the previous person who did it just, I don't know, didn't do it correctly, can't do it, was incapable, I don't know. But here we go. Let's test this hot start. Immediate hot start test. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Beautiful. I don't know if you guys noticed, but when I was testing it earlier, when it would fire, it wouldn't go above the commanded RPM, which was 900. So I had to play with kind of a few things. I played with spark, added some more fuel, had to adjust the minimum airflow tables, adjusted some throttle body tables, and now when it fires up, you want the car to fire up higher than the commanded RPM. You know, you want it to really ignite. So it's got a strong hot start. So I'm gonna take this back and we'll kind of go over a couple things. Hopefully, I really don't know what the plan for this video was or is. Kind of just had some free time real quick, so thought I would videotape myself tuning it, a little POV. So I know a lot of people love the 426, you know, it's like this big thing. So here we go. Well, after a 20-minute driving log, I get home to realize that my AFR sensor is gone. So looking back at the log, 1 minute in, and so see how the AFR says 2. So where is it? So right here it's working. And then right about here, it unplugs. Somewhere in right here. So I don't know if I hit a dip or what, but there it goes to 2. And fell off. So, and that's not cheap either. It's like a $200 sensor, and that clamp is $100. So I gotta go back out and find it. Well, I told you my sensor fell off, and right where I thought it would have been, done. Got the sensor. Here's what the final data log looks like. Look at these trims. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at these. Beautiful here. Driver's side's a little funky up here, but no big deal. Driver's side's being weird. It happens. All right, so let me get this final tune on. One more hot start test. Calling it done. All right, new tune is in. Final hot start test. There we go. There we go.